Hello, hello, and welcome back to Peace and Plenty in 20. I'm your host, Janine, midlife mom mentor. And I'm very excited because today we're going to be talking all about overwhelm and noise and how to tune that out and tune into yourself and find clarity so that you can elevate and grow and learn and lead and all the things you want to do. You will notice that I have a very special guest here with me today. Not only is Michele my dear friend, but she's both an educator, a psychologist, and a leader. So I'm going to let Miss Michele Madden Perez quickly tell us a little bit more about her background, and then we're going to dive into the good stuff. Hi, Michele.
I am so excited to be here. I mean, obviously, I have seen your passion, I've seen your work, I've seen just the process and all of the different things you've added to midlife mamas and to their life and the tools that we have and the resources. And I'm so excited you started this podcast. I'm honored to be a part of the series. I was so excited when you invited me because I feel like these are so many things that we talk about obviously both being in our midlife kind of season of life. And I feel like there are so many things that come to light. And I'm grateful that I think things become a little bit more clear, but we're still in our season of balancing it all and still trying to kind of be all things for all different people while maybe redefining our role a little bit. So there is so much to unpack. So
Mhm.
we'll try to keep it to your 20, but I would love it if I'm a repeat guest. So there's always
Absolutely.
to talk about. A little bit about my background. As Janine had mentioned, I started out as a special education teacher. Then I became a school psychologist and I worked for 20 years with a wide variety of different abilities, working with children and adolescents with emotional disturbances or on the autism spectrum, anxiety, attention deficit challenges, you name it. And, with 26 years in education, I've had the privilege of being able to work with so many different children, adolescents, and family members.
Mhm.
So it's been a blessing. And then I recently, within the last 3 years, I retired and I work privately now with a company and I'm able to consult privately for school districts. And then I also have private clients. So I really do prioritize working with a lot of college age students, some adults, and just really helping to navigate um, just social circumstances, time management, balancing kind of like what direction you want to go in life. Lots of light topics for people. But I love it. So it's a balance of all things. So, but I love the new balance it has given me in my life and being able to do this a little bit more on my terms as a midlife woman.
Absolutely. And kind of redefining part of, I mean, this is not really on topic, but I just want to quickly say, I think as much as we have on our plates, it's the most beautiful season of our lives because I feel like we finally have this permission to write our own story and not fit into like, oh, I'm this or I do this one thing. But like you said, redefining, you know what? I have strengths here, here, and here, and I want to use them all. But with that positive aspect comes this sense of how do we do it all? How do we do all these things? And how do we tune out the things that we don't have to do? And I'm talking about like on a daily basis as well as overall in your life and business. And how do we figure out like what to focus on when there's so much to focus on? So if you just also want to mention you're also a leader to a lot of women with a company. So
Yeah.
if you want to just mention that, and then also what are some ways that you yourself personally do that, like in terms of getting clarity each day on what you're going to focus on or what you're going to focus on in your work and your life? Or how do you help your team? Because I know you've given your team a lot of really good points when they're like, I don't know what to focus on because there's so many ways. I could be working each day, right? So you have the freedom to work like that, but then it's also a lot of pressure to figure out which way to go when you don't have someone kind of assigning tasks to you.
Yeah. So absolutely. So to tell you a little bit about, I mean, I love my other job, but this is kind of like the fun, creative side of my life, and one I grappled with for a while because I think it goes back to that role, right, and how we define ourselves. For 26 years, I only viewed myself professionally and gratefully, but as a educator or psychologist
Mm-hmm.
or behavior consultant. And then after I retired, I just wanted to take another direction and be able to kind of have a creative outlet and be able to do something a little bit more independently. So I work online. I do some social media affiliate work with different companies. And after doing that for about 3 years, I just recently in the past year linked with a hair care, a skincare, and wellness company that I absolutely love. It aligned with just my personal convictions about gratitude, and they have a really strong mission and a foundation that aligns with their company. And I have the privilege to work with over 136 women. As of
Amazing.
yesterday, we're at 136 women.
Under you on your team.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm able to really tap into bringing some of those strengths that I feel like I had in education as an opportunity to lead, to inspire, to collaborate with people. That was the one thing that I really missed when I left education and kind of working independently. And it's really hard to kind of sift out that noise when you feel sometimes it's like a one woman show or a self-owned business. But the ability to collaborate, the ability to be able to brainstorm and just collectively support each other was the thing I was missing when I left education. And I was able to find that just in a different way. So, to be honest, to be, kind of true to myself, I grappled with a little bit of this is such a shift
Mm-hmm.
from what my role was supposed to be, right? And this is me redefining something. And can I do this? A lot of those limiting beliefs, a lot of that noise.
Yeah.
I've never done this. I've never been on Instagram 5 years ago. I
Right.
truly didn't even know how to really use it. Um, so I had to do a lot of reevaluating and giving myself grace to be able to one step out of my comfort zone, learn something new, but also telling myself it's okay to redefine yourself
Mm-hmm.
at any age. And honestly, that's one of the core values that I talk about with my team and with a lot of the women on my team who are in like their 30s through 60s. We have a full range. And I always talk about allowing yourself to know that there's opportunity at any age.
Mm-hmm.
And that can look really different for everybody, but just not to count yourself out. And
Love that. Yeah.
it's okay to redefine something or serve people in a different way or contribute in a different way. And it took me, I'm gonna say over a year. Like I'm almost like, who am I to be able to try to get my foot in the door in this completely different avenue. But I'm so grateful I did.
Mm.
So,
The payoff was worth it. And that question, that who am I, that is literally, I tell my clients that's literally the indicator of imposter syndrome, right?
mhm.
And
Yes,
what I would say to that is, who are you not to do that? And
absolutely.
I didn't make that up. I stole that from someone. But the truth is, if you were to pass up this opportunity and you were to not do this, think about the 130 women that you're now leading and inspiring that wouldn't have that because you were willing and brave enough to embrace the unknown, the uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable. Like you said, you hadn't even been on Instagram. But in terms of wanting something different for yourself and wanting to make a shift and see if there might be something else out there, we got to be willing to just take that leap and try it. And having people around you, to your point, having the community and the women, and that's, I loved when you talked about feeling isolated because that's how I feel. That's why I started this show. That's literally why I started this show, was to inspire, connect, bring women together and for me to feel connected to others, because it can get very lonely when you're sitting in an office by yourself or wherever.
Yeah.
So I love all those points.
Yeah, it really is such a blessing. And obviously we talk about this really at any age, especially adolescence, when I think about,
Mm,
working with younger people. And it's really throughout our entire life, who you surround yourself with, who you align yourself with, who, who you model or connect with. It's so essential, right? The people in the community that you kind of surround yourself around. So that's why I just really felt more and more called to be able to kind of do that and to inspire. And when I tell you, so many of the women obviously partner with me to be able to have another financial
mhm.
opportunity, but time and time again, so many women say, I never realized the added benefit that I was going to have to connect with other women and to have a community and to meet so many, so many incredible people. It's just like this additional benefit that you didn't realize, in the beginning, and certainly not for me.
Exactly. So that's such a great segue into thinking about, okay, so I'm just processing like what you were just saying. So on the one hand, it's really good when you surround yourself with the people that what's that quote, like you're the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. So it's really important to surround yourself with the people who have the same vision and goals as you, right? But now the question becomes, now how do we not start to compare and despair looking at what everybody else is doing? And that's what we started to talk about, like getting overwhelmed by, oh, well, look, Michelle is doing this. Maybe I should be doing that. Oh boy, maybe I, like for me, like I haven't been making like TikToks. I really need to get on TikTok to promote myself. I need to do, I need to give more workshops. I need to. So how do you figure out what's important and what you need to do, and how do you lead your women to do the same?
So it's I feel like sometimes things are meant to be and kind of like meant to have this conversation because this has been such an important theme the last week. So there have been some really major announcements with the company that I'm working with, and they it's all amazing things, but it's a lot of things to balance and a lot of things to juggle. It's a lot of opportunity, but collectively, I'm really trying to lead and guide people. I just had this conversation yesterday. So I have this thing called Monday Connections. It's an informal opportunity for us to kind of just meet. And the women were feeling like that. How do I balance all of this when I'm still learning some of the things that I want to create for my business? But now I have these three other things. And what I really wanted to impress was before this announcement was made a week ago, stay true to the things that you were still doing
Mm,
for your business. And you can do this in any aspect of your life, right? When there's a lot of noise or a lot of variables coming at you, they can be good things. They don't all have to be negative. They can actually be amazing things. But stay true to really kind of like the original focus. And I think it's really important to know your why or
mm,
what has worked. So truly this past weekend, I went back to basics and I encouraged everybody on my team to go back to basics. What made you start and take the leap and have this opportunity or create this opportunity for yourself? What do you love about it? What do you love each day that you do? Right. And list those things and stay true to those things. And then I had said, just add one additional thing. If you're really excited about some of the new opportunities, add one thing that you can learn. So, for example, the last 3 days, I'll kind of put it in very practical terms. I have 15 minutes that I spend on this new task, right? So there's like these three new things that are like happening with the company. I take truly only 15 minutes to try to learn that new thing, whether it's doing a training, whether it's listening to, something that the company put out, whether it's practicing on some new social platform. And then I walk away from it and I work my business and focus on the way that I did a week ago before
mm.
all these changes happen. I'm trying to stay true to my business. And I'll go back, I'll do another 15 minutes at another point in time, and then maybe do another one. But I don't allow myself to go down a rabbit hole,
Mhm.
because I had someone yesterday who's like, I spent 2 hours doing something and I wasn't able to even accomplish it.
Right.
And
And
now I
then,
feel like my day was wasted. And she felt really, really frustrated. So it's hard to shift and it's hard to discipline yourself. But if you kind of go back to your why, another thing that I really like to do if I'm creating my get to do list, I love to I
yep.
truly my to-do list, my get to do list every day. Again, I didn't coin the term. I wish I did, but as soon as I heard that years ago, I truly try to live by that. And when I put my tasks on on the list, and there are things obviously that you have to do, your routine based things, but if there are other things that I'm choosing to do on my get to do list, I ask myself, is this going to help me get closer to what I envision, or is it going to kind of like distract me or pull me further away from that? Um, so, for example, because I'm working in a social based company, it's really, really distracting. And there's a lot of temptations to be able to go down a rabbit hole and use social media in maybe less productive ways. So I really do set like a timer for myself, or I do like blocks of time. And this is what I'm sending only messages out to people today, right? I'm following up with my clients or my customers. As messages may be coming in, I'm like, I'm not answering or I'm not looking at those right now. I'm truly just attending to my current customers and I'm following up with them and I'm, supporting them in whatever way I can. So it's really, really hard to kind of keep your focus and keep your tasks kind of on point like that. And I deviate here and there. I mean, everyone obviously
Sure.
is,
You're human.
but I really do try to kind of keep that focus. Um, but I do really feel like if you have a list, and some people don't love lists, but some people even have like maybe categories. I work with clients where we kind of like set up categories.
Yep.
And if it aligns, again, I feel like that one burning question, if this is going to help me get one step closer towards the big picture or what I want for myself, it's a little bit easier to kind of sway yourself in that direction, versus like, is this really good for me? Is this good for my health? Is this good for my professional standpoint? Is this good for my growth? Is this good for my mindset? I ask myself those things and then I try, that kind of helps me to deter, from doing some of those things.
Absolutely. I love that. And asking yourself questions. And I think you heard my alarm go off. I do the same thing. I literally have alarms like we need those boundaries. We need to really have something help us put our blinders on and tune out the noise. And just to kind of summarize what you just said, and by the way, we definitely have to do a part two. We didn't even scratch the surface.
I know, because I actually want to talk about that, that comparison is
Yes.
I have a whole thing about that.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you and I'm going to tell the audience right now, this is not over. This is just part one. Okay. Because there's so much and by the way, I think part of the other, this is a whole nother show, but part of the other issue is like what I could have done just now is like, oh no, I didn't get to it. Like, and start thinking about like we were talking organically and things didn't go as planned. So, but guess what? I get to decide. I get to decide that we could make this a three-part thing. Like, who's telling me, we get so caught up also in what we're supposed to be doing. So, this is only part one. I just want to summarize, go back to what you just said, because I think it's so important. I think it's the main point to get across today is number one, know your why, right?
Mhm.
Why are you doing this? What's your goal? Like you were saying, like ask yourself, is this getting me closer to? You have to know what that goal is,
Yes.
right? And make it specific and tangible, smart goals, right? Make it very specific. Even if you have to have it posted or written with my clients, I have them
Absolutely. In my journal, I
anchor
have
it. Yep.
it in my daily planner.
Yep. Know what it is and have it visually around, I even say have it in your car, have it in your kitchen, have it posted on your bathroom mirror. Like just remember what you're doing and why, because that's going to be your lighthouse, right? That's going to
Yep.
be your anchor, however you want, whatever metaphor you want to use. That's what's going to keep you on track. And then when you ask yourself those questions, what is this activity going to, like you said, pull me away from or pull me towards what I want? That helps. And really setting those boundaries, which is very hard when we have so much on our plate. But I love the block scheduling, right? I love the idea of in that block and in mine, like I have 2 3 hour blocks in my day where there's no phone. I don't answer my phone. I could do emails in one of the blocks, but not the other. Like we have to set up our own systems that work for us.
Mm-hmm. If I could even add one thing, I feel like I had this conversation too this weekend. If you add too many things, right, to your plate all at once, you get overwhelmed to the point where you get lost in like what was effective or not, right? So I think it's really important when you are incorporating strategies or when you're incorporating new things and new ways to kind of help us like get life organized. I think it's important to add only a couple at a time, right? If you're trying too many systems, just professionally to know when someone adds too many things, sometimes they're like, now I'm not using any of it.
That's
So
right.
you don't know what could have been effective because you incorporated them all at the same time. So that would be one other, one.
Absolutely. Atomic habits, very small. Do one at a time. And going back to what you just said, remembering what worked and
Yeah.
just at like because then we don't get the opportunity when we think we have to change and evolve and do something better and bigger, and we forget that we're already successful at certain things. And like you said, with your team, list everything you were doing, keep doing that. We're not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're saying let's
Back to
try
your
one new thing.
go back to your basics, go back to your why, incorporate things small steps at a time so we know what's actually working.
Absolutely. Love, love, love that. Okay, we're gonna when we get off, we're gonna talk about when part two is for everybody.
Good. I'm
Um,
excited.
in the meantime, I'm gonna add Michelle's information or social media. If you want to learn more about her team, definitely look into that. I happen to also be involved with the hair situation, if you can tell.
There is always a seat at our table.
I love
Love our team. It's such a special community.
I love that so much. All right, so I'm going to share that with y'all her information. For me, those of you that are interested in, what I need some help with this, right? I need a system. I need my own systems, and like Michele was saying, not the same system doesn't work for everybody.
Absolutely.
That's where I come in as a coach. I work with you, I customize, we figure out what's working for you, what's not. And that's where a coach can really help you have that support and that accountability and that customized solution, not just a one size fits all. So
And
if,
sometimes it's hard to kind of see it from like
oh,
more of
yeah,
a lens, and a coach is instrumental for that.
yeah, I'll never be without a coach ever again in my life. Like it's the best investment I've ever made. So if any of you are thinking about it, click the link. I offer a free, they used to call it a discovery call. Now I call it a strategy session because I really show you like, all right, here's a strategy. I meet with you, we talk about what's going on. I let you try it for a week and that's all free. So if you're interested, click there, set it up with me. And then I will let you guys know when part two is going to be. Please comment, share with us. What do you got? Like Michele was saying, community, we want to hear from you, like share. And the last thing is, as a business minded person, I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe to my channel because that's how you will not miss an episode every week. If you look, I mean, these are just some of my ideas and things that you guys want to hear about. uh, every week is going to be something. If you're a midlife woman, you don't want to miss it, so make sure you hit subscribe. Michele, thank you, and you'll be back really soon whether you like
Thank
it or not.
you for having me. We're going to add like 6 more post-its to the.
Totally, so many, so many.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing all you do.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Peace.